Hi, I'm Tess Ferris, and my project is about child marriage. When one thinks about getting married, they think maybe when I'm done with school, or maybe in my 20s. Not when you are 12 or 15 getting married to someone who's 21 years old or even older than that. Unfortunately, a lot of girls do not have a choice in this matter. They get married off to whoever their parents see fit. In third world countries like Bangladesh and the Central African Republic, this is a common practice that is viewed as a normal circumstance for their culture, but absurd in ours. According to the International Center for Research on Women, approximately 15 million girls are married before they even reach the age of 18. That is just a year, though. They estimate that about 700 million women have been affected so far and that are currently living. We wonder why anyone would be okay with this, but to many it's a normal milestone in a young girl's life. And throughout my presentation, I hope that you'll be able to see the logic behind my propositional changes that I believe will benefit women who are affected by these disturbing practices. From the small tidbit of statistics that I gave earlier, one can see that this is a real issue. From the sheer number of girls affected by child marriage, it is saddening that it takes away the right to choose if, when, and who they get married to. The reasons behind why child marriage is a common practice is truly complex, yet not unexpected. The reasons as to why children are forced into marriage so young are due to poverty and the belief that marriage will somehow protect their young daughters from sexual assault and harassment. But if you truly think about it, they're actually doing the opposite of protecting. They are instead subjecting them to it. But the difference is they're stuck with a constant assault and harassment from a much older man for the rest of their life. The assault does not even stop at the physical aspect, but continues on affecting the girl's education and forces them to instead have children at very young ages. Research shows that when these children get married and have babies of their own, their families will have a higher risk of violence, food insecurity, and other negative health outcomes like pregnancy complications and sexually transmitted diseases. Sadly, when children are subjected to this, it won't stop with that one child. It will continue on affecting generations to come because they can't stop it. Take a moment and process all of the information that just was thrown at you. Now put yourself in their shoes. Would you feel scared as your parents tell you at the age of 15 or even younger at that they have found your future husband? Of course you would. But in reality, this is what young girls live in fear of every day. Parents tell them that they're doing this to protect them and keep them safe, when really they're throwing them into the lion's den. And UNICEF published a paper that really just summed it all up on how it affects young girls. They stated, child marriage violates the rights of the girl child to be free from all forms of discrimination, inhuman, and degrading treatment and slavery. So explain to me how parents justify their choice to do this by thinking it is the best for them. But like the studies have shown, it leads to domestic violence, health problems, and leaving these girls without the opportunity to make their own choices. Now that you know about the consequences that come from child marriage, it is our time to act. Because if we don't, the International Center for Research on Women predicts that 150 million girls will be married before the age of 18 within the next decade. Currently, there are supposed to be laws that are set to make the minimum age of marriage to be 18. But countries are still getting away with child marriage. According to girlsnotbrides.org, they are allowing this by saying that both parents consent, and even in some cases because of their religious affiliation, allowing them to have the minimum age lower than 18. Now, I'm not saying that we should go out to these countries and start taking away these young girls from their marriages, because that's not going to fix the problem in the long run. Instead, we need to educate the public about the issue at hand. We can be the voice for those who do not have one. If we change the law that allows parents to consent to a marriage for girls under 18, then it can be prevented by making it illegal. Those that force their daughters into these marriages will have to have face the legal consequences of forcing them into this. And then, on top of that, we can have countries start to offer a safe haven for young girls that are already currently married to leave their husbands and instead go and create a life worth living of their own. Thus far, I've only talked about these countries as a whole and not an individual case. Plan International UK published a story about a young girl named Sadia who was a child bride. At 14 years old, she was married off to a man that was 4 years older than her. Sadia never met him before, and the first words he spoke to her was, "Stop crying." That is heart-wrenching. Unfortunately, her trauma did not stop there. It continued on her wedding night when she got pregnant and carried on through her delivery, where she had to have an emergency C-section, not only risking her life, but the baby's life as well. Even through all the pain that Sadia went through, she still wants to make a difference so that her daughter does not have to go through the same pain she had to go through. If we do not try to make a difference, we will not be able to save these girls' lives from a life of torment just like Sadia had to go through. Young girls should not lose the opportunity to get an education or being able to experience falling in love for the first time because families are trying to protect their daughters from men, which in all reality, they are truly just handing these girls over to men that are hurting them the most. And here's my works cited page. Thank you.